Welcome back to the YZ124 build, guys. We are getting to the chassis now. Super excited about this because this will allow me to get this bike together to the point where it can at least roll off my lift and work on other things at the house. So as you can see, we're not at the house because this is one of those jobs that really you need the right tools. And I don't have all the right tools at my house. I do have some of them there. We're going to be bouncing back and forth with this. But today we are going to be replacing steering head bearings. Here we go. Guys, if you don't know, this bike is the next bike that we're going to give away. I'm pretty excited about it. We got a whole bunch of merch that you can get entries with, stickers that you can get entries with. There's free ways to enter. It's rad. We're only doing 1,000 entries, guys. There's still lots of entries right now because we just started this whole process. Yeah, we're only doing 1,000 entries, and we're going to give this bike away. It is going to be one absolutely wicked lightweight off-road weapon. So I'm really excited about that. Make sure you go to highland-cycles.com to get all the information on that. So today, right now, we're going to get first of all, get this all cleaned up, and we're going to get that bearing off of here. And then we're going to reinstall new bearing there, and then we're going to take this all back to the house, put it together. We have a new top triple clamp because we have a Mako 360 to put on it, and this isn't going to work because the Mako 360 needs to replace these lower bar clamps. So let's dig in. Let's get this thing apart. We're going to start by getting this cleaned up a whole bunch. We're going to chuck this fender because it's going to have all new plastics. And now, guys, here's the thing. There are ways to remove this bearing without all the right stuff. I don't recommend it though. It works, and I've done it, but the problem is you usually end up jacking up the bottom triple clamp. So we're going to do this the right way. To do it the right way, you need a press. But like I said before, let me go clean this up really fast, and then we'll be right back. All right, guys. We have got it chucked up in the press. Now, the thing is, what you don't want to do, you don't want to support it way out here because that will allow this whole thing to flex. You can actually break this lower triple clamp. So we're going to support it right up underneath in the middle. Obviously, you need it outside of where this comes through. And we're going to push this entire steering stem through the triple clamp. There we go. It's always a little bit scary at first, guys. Gonna push, it's probably gonna fall out onto the ground. There we go. Boom. There we go. Bearing all good. Now you can see there's a bottom gasket seal on that thing. So you got to make sure when you put the thing back together that ends up back on there. So now we can do some more cleaning to this, get it really, really nice and shiny. All right, guys, so now we're going to push the steering stem back in. So it obviously goes in like this. There's actually a circlip right here to keep it from going too far. Because of these steering stops, I can't get these things up tight against this. You really want to support it right on that boss. So this is part of another tool that we're using from Tusk, actually. I'll show you what that's going to do here in just a bit, but this is really not what it's technically made for, but it works perfectly. So now we're going to stack some things up here so that we can gain this distance. But actually, we'll see if this one will work better. Now we're gonna press this in. I'm gonna get so where it's kind of tight on it. There we go. Now we can move it. There we go. Now we're just going to ease this stem on into the triple clamp. Again, it's got a circlip to stop it. And it is flush. There we go. Boom. We're ready to rock and roll. Let's go grab our other bearings. And we are using Tusk bearings, guys. I've had really, really good luck with the Tusk stuff on this kind of bearing. This is not the crazy most important bearing in the world, just to be honest. I mean, I take that back. It's a very important bearing. You don't want them to lock up or cause get really hurt. But since it's not spinning at high RPMs and all that stuff, as long as it feels good when you take off on a ride, it's going to be just fine. And you know, I've never seen a tapered roller bearing just completely fail on a steering head ever. So there we go. Now get our Tusk bearings. We've got an upper and a lower. I think actually we'll know very quickly. Because this, hold on, I'll show you. The top bearing is going to need to fit really nice and snug right around there. This one, you can see it moves all over the place. So that is obviously the bottom one. Now, one way to do this, guys, is you take this and drive it on there. But first, we need our lower seal. And this is obvious because the top seal is much thinner. Anyway, this is going to come in here and fit like that, just like it's supposed to. Anyway, this is really pretty clear. And this thing should drop right on. There we go. Now we'll take our bearing. And no, I'm not putting grease on it yet because I don't want to make a huge mess as I drive it on there. It would probably be easier if you had a bearing packer to just do it out here, but I like to do it dry here. Okay, here's our tool from Tusk. So it's got different rings, and you're going to want to find the one that comes down and hits just on this inner race, right? And doesn't touch the outer race at all. So you can see that's exactly what that does. So now I'm going to take our driver and see how that sets down inside there to help square it up. Like that. Now, this is steel, so it's going to resist, mushrooming and whatever. That's nice. We're going to hit that with a hammer. We're going to drive this sucker home. There we go. Bearing totally fine. Everything nice and seated just where it needs to be. And we did not hurt anything. Now I have taken, if you use the press, you can take the other race, put it down on here, and you can push against that race because that will push equally on all those rollers and you'll actually be just fine. But there we go. Now, guys, we're going to head back home to the shop where I have, I've got grease and all that stuff. Well, head back home to the shop where the frame is so we can install our races. And then obviously this doesn't need any special tools to install because it just goes like that. So, yeah, let's head back home to the home shop. All right, we're home. Let's get to work on this thing. Let's make this thing look more like a motorcycle. Super excited about this. All right, so we got a long drift. I don't know if I can show you guys this, but there is a bit of an edge. There's just enough of an edge on all these races to be able to drive them out. So we're gonna take our drift, we're gonna knock the bottom one out, then we're gonna knock the top one out. Then I'll show you the super cool tool I got from Tusk to reinstall. All right, guys, so we're back here at the shop. Time to take this steering head bearing our race out, and I'm using a normal blind bearing puller with a bigger, it's a 45 millimeter collet. It's actually a little bit too big, probably needs to be a little bit smaller, but I was able to drive it down in there far enough, and now we're gonna slide a hammer of that sucker out. Boom. There we go. Now, the process of getting this off of here, because this, like I said, this is a little bit too big of a collet, but it works. All right, now we're gonna drive it up underneath and yank the other one out. I've been different clothes because yeah, that didn't work at all. Turns out this bottom race is actually a different size than the top race. I thought they were both the same. They're really close. They got a couple mils off, but that collet, this one, would not fit into it. So I had to order a different thing. This is actually pretty cool. I'm excited to try it out. So this is kind of a universal race bearing remover or whatever. You can see it's got ridges, and you turn this to open it and close it. So I'm going to put it up in here, open it up, and then we're going to just take a punch and drive it down from the top. So I'll show you here when I get it all set up. 1 second. So like I said, this is pretty cool because it just goes up in, and then you open up the screw to get it tight on the bearing. Just make sure it's nice and tight. I'm gonna grab a wrench and open that up just a little bit more. Pliers, wrench. And a hammer. We're just gonna hopefully knock it out. Even though it's going to come out, and hopefully it'll loosen it and then make some progress, because this is just going to be a pain, I think. All right. We're moving it just real slow. One thing I could do is probably carve these. These edges aren't super sharp, but I'm not messing with it because we are making progress. Might be able to get this. And yeah, there we go. Woohoo! This little tool, not the best in the world, but it worked. We got there, so happy about that. Now, do some cleaning. All right, guys. Now, it is time to install the races. So, this is the one for the bottom. This is the one for the top. Make sure I keep those separate because it turns out they're different, which is funny. Anyway, so we have a super rad tool that I've actually never used before. I'm excited. I've always just driven these things in, but I got the Tusk steering head race installer. So this thing's pretty rad. So obviously you've got this, and this is going to squeeze things together. What's really cool is that this piece moves up and down and stops on whatever notch that you want or need. So that's really, really cool. So what we need to do is, this is a race. We need to figure out which one of these fits it. That one's a little bit small, I think. All right, guys, that's the one. I'm gonna slide this on and go like that. Now we're gonna take this over here, right? And we're gonna slide this up until that goes in, and we're gonna adjust this. I'll show you here, 1 second. We're gonna adjust this so that it comes up, and then we can push the other one down. So here is the top one. It's gonna come in from like this. Actually, we're pretty close to having this in the right spot. So I'm going to move this one level up so that it's got more to squeeze. And again, I'm going to bring you guys over here 1 second. So we've got that race there, this race there, and we're just going to slowly crank that in, and then it's going to tighten down and put them right in the spot. All right. Shiny new race. Shiny new race. Everything's seated right where it should be. Now, honestly, that is probably easier with just the hammer style. Oh, it's nice though that that thing can kind of hold it while you beat on it, knocking it up in there. That actually is pretty nice. So that's all good. Now let's grease these bearings. Let's put this stuff in there and let's get these forks on this bike. All right, guys. Now we're going to pack these bearings. So I'm using this Motorex. This is the FET 2000. I like it. It works good. I don't know. There's lots of good grease out there. We don't need to have a long discussion about grease. Just buy good grease and you'll be happy. So when you're packing bearings, you want to kind of push it down in. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like here. So you come up here and you're going to really push it into this bearing kind of from the top and really force it down in there. That way you're getting the bearings super duper greased. What's it, bud? And I even like come out here and just really push it, kind of force it down in there. Obviously we're making a big mess. That's okay, no big deal. That's part of the deal with grease. You can always wipe excess off. All right, so I like that. I'm going to take our top bearing. Same thing. This one's a little easier because it's just in our hands. And they make bearing packers that are really nice. And you can come in from the top here and really shove it in there. Now, let's go over to the bike, install this sucker. One thing you're going to need before you try to slide this all in there is a castle nut so you can slide it up in and keep it from sliding off. So I'm going to come up in, take our top bearing, drop it down on there, and then actually, I forgot one thing. Got to get our top seal first. Top seal goes on. Then the castle nut. You're not worrying about torque yet. Okay? Just going to get this to where it holds it in place. And you can literally just finger tight. Now on a YZ, you have this really thin washer that goes on next. We have our shiny new triple clamps. Very excited about these guys because this is what is going to allow us to install a Mako 360 on this bike. So we're gonna set that on top. Then we have a thick washer. Then we have our big steering stem nut. Actually, I should really take these bars off, but there's really no need right now. And take our freshly rebuilt forks, one side at a time. We're gonna come up in here. And so if you're having a hard time sliding a fork through, what you can do, we take our flat blade, we're going to put it in there, and we're just going to give a little tappy tap with the hammer so that it spreads that out just a tiny bit. Not much. Slides right up in there. And here is the key to this whole process of doing steering head bearings and or retorquing steering head bearings, all the things that have to do with steering head bearings and getting things set. Is right now we've got our forks in here, or one fork. We're gonna get the other one here in a second. We are not gonna touch these top bolts yet, okay? Not at all, because none of this is tight. All right, now, just for now, I'm going to tighten these lower triple clamps so that these can't fall out at all. I'm just hand tight, no torque, no nothing yet. That'll keep them from wanting to go anywhere. All right. Now we tighten all this up. So nice and we can feel this. We can feel this. This is moving really like a little too freely, which it should because we haven't tightened anything down. First things first, though, we're going to come in here with a punch and a hammer, and we're going to easily tighten down this castle nut. Now, yes, there's spanner wrenches and all that stuff, but I like to do it like this. It's just a feel thing for me, and it's aluminum, so you got to be careful. You don't want to damage it and mess it all up. And you're just going to ease it on there because I don't know what the torque spec is, and I'm sure someone yell at me right now for not knowing the torque spec of this castle nut. I don't care because I've worked with enough old school guys. Like, I'm not that old school. I don't know that much, but I've worked with guys that know way more than me and way more than most. And this is how they do it. They do it by feel more than anything. So, got a screwdriver, and we're just going to ease this down until it's got some decent resistance. And you're going to have to sort this out. I'll show you how I kind of get this all sorted out. So, all right, that feels good to start. Now I'm going to grab these, and I just want to feel if it's moving freely, right? But when we grab the lower fork tubes, it doesn't wiggle at all. So that feels pretty good. But you don't want this to be too tight, and I'll show you why. Because when we tighten this down, it's still going to squeeze it. Even though that castle nut is there, and yes, it should theoretically stop it and all that stuff, it's going to take up a little bit of that slack no matter what we do. Because this thing, you're going to reef on. So that feels pretty good to me. We're taking all this off anyway, so since we're going with a Mako later. By the way, make sure you guys subscribe and all that stuff. Make sure you guys go get your entries to win this bike, because this thing is going to be one super trick lightweight woods weapon when we're done with it, man. I cannot wait to see this thing all finished, and we'll get it on a scale and all that good stuff so you guys can know exactly how lightweight it is. It's going to be stinking light because we are not putting a bunch of extra stuff on it. Now we can tighten this down. And again, this has a torque spec. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. Make sure it doesn't come loose. It's so big that it's not gonna strip anything. Again, one more time, make sure these are loose. Okay, so see that's a little stiff to me. We back this back off. Now that we back that off, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna unscrew this castle nut. Just a couple tappy taps. Not crazy. And feel that motion. And that, let's see. That ought to be about right. Now we're going to retighten this and we're going to check again. Oh yeah, that feels way better. So what I'm looking for, guys, when I'm all said and done, is I'm looking for this thing to move nice and smooth and freely with just a little bit of resistance. Because once we put a wheel on here and handlebars on here and all that stuff, it's actually going to make it even easier to turn, right? Also, since these are brand new bearings and brand new races, and we just installed them, they're probably going to break in and kind of move just a little bit, and that's going to make this whole thing loosen up. So we're actually going to have to come back in here and re-torque all this stuff when we're said and done. So there. Now, finally, the last thing to do in this whole process, guys, last thing for this video, is now you set your fork height. Because now that we've got this tightened to the castle nut, and then we've got this on here, right? And these are tight and whatever. Now what we can do is we can set our fork height and we can tighten these pinchables. Because I didn't worry about the fork height because I just wanted these lined up, because when they come through, they line the triple clamps up. So now that they're lined up, the triple clamps that is, now I can loosen these bolts and I can slide these up and down and get the fork set height. I'm gonna run them right flush right there for now. We may change that when we ride it, we'll see. All right, that's it. That's the end of the video. Brand spanking new steering head bearings. Really excited about that, guys. I'm excited about this project. Make sure you go get your entries for this thing. We're only doing 1,000 entries. There's still plenty left right now. So make sure you get your entries, guys. I'm really excited about giving this thing away. This bike is going to be absolutely wicked. It was really, really cool before. Now with all we're doing with the 144, brand new motor, brand new crank, brand new balance crank, all that good stuff, plus all new bearings. The linkage bearings are actually in really, really good shape, so we're not replacing those, but we will be greasing those and installing those. So make sure you hit the little notification bell on this video, because we are going to be going together here hopefully very, very soon. The next video, we're going to be installing the swing arm and the motor into the frame, and the shock, and that might be it. And then we're going to work on the wheels, get new tires and moose balls on there. And then it's going to be all the ancillary stuff, subframe, plastic, tank, and all that good stuff to get this thing going. We have a few more parts we got to order. I know we need a rear brake caliper because I had to steal the one off of this to put on my kid Ewan's normal bike, because that one had a problem. So I got to get a brake caliper coming for this, and probably some other things. We're probably going to find some other parts we don't have. That's part of this whole series, is that this is like you found one in the barn, because it's kind of like it is. It's kind of a barn find because it's been apart for so long. So, and also there's our box of parts that are going on it. Mako 360, new air filter, hose kit, all kinds of good stuff, guys. So thank you so much for joining me. I want to do a quick shout out to OmniWall for this setup here. This thing is so, so cool. Make sure you check out OmniWall USA, guys. There's a link in the description. I love this setup, especially at my house, also at the shop. I've got it for the suspension. I've got another setup coming. Actually, I'm going to put it over here so I can set up for suspension here at the home shop, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, anyway, super excited. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. We'll see you on the next one.